What's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to TownHall Arcade, episode number 11. Today is March 5th, 2020. And Arano, there is simply too goddamn much to talk about in a single show, so we've got a lot on our plates. Tonight, we're talking about PAX East as we attended that last week. We're talking about Riot's new shooter, Valorant. We've got gaming news across the board with announcements of all kinds of stuff. And I picked out a game that, we're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight. I just had to kind of put something on the graphic below. I'm reading off that right now. One game that's standing out to me that I want to talk about is Immortal Gates of Pyre. It's an RTS. We're going to talk about that later in the show. I want to try to find more games like that are being developed for like a specific audience that I find interesting or that you might find interesting, to kind of highlight them on the show and then follow them and, check in on it every so often as the game is in development. But we are two coronavirus survivors, doing well. I'm doing well. Ryan, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, can't complain. Another week down. Another week closer to Final Fantasy VII.
What is that? Right now you're playing what? Resident Evil 1?
Zero. Mm-hmm. A prequel.
Okay.
Basically, Resident Evil 1 came out, and then years later on GameCube, they released like a prequel called Resident Evil 0, where you find out more about the T-Virus
and how it came to be.
Yeah, and like Albert Wesker and William Burkham and all these characters that you see later in the series, and how they worked with Umbrella and what exactly happened to cause the outbreak.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's not very. It did not age well. We'll say that. But I don't think
games, though,
any of the Resident Evils did, because that fixed camera angle and it's rough. It's rough.
I can imagine.
But I'm enjoying myself. I'm liking it, but I haven't played this game probably since on the GameCube, and it came out in I think like 2002, so it's been like 18 years. And so but it got remastered, so the graphics are pretty nice, but the controls are frustrating. Very frustrating.
See, that's the deal breaker for me. If the controls are bad, I just can't get behind it.
So it's this weird, like, because the whole idea is you actually control two characters, and so you're constantly switching between them.
Can be done well.
It nowadays, I'm sure it can be, but like, so I keep hitting the wrong button and it switches, and when you switch, there's like a little bit of loading. So I'm like,
it's like a whole transition. Yeah.
And like triangle is or like the top button is to switch, which is like, for me in my head, is always the menu button, but menu's square or like X, if you will. So like Y is always menu to me, or triangle, but for some reason it's switch characters in this game. So like I'm always going to my menu and I'm just switching characters instead, and I'm just getting so frustrated.
Sounds awful. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm probably about a little more than halfway through. But I'm committed. I'm gonna play every single Resident Evil. I'm gonna do it.
You said you're committed, and that made me think of like my current commitment, which is non-gaming related, but I guess it's nerd related. Allison and I recently finished watching Star Wars Rebels. After Mandalorian, it's like, okay, people have been telling me to watch this for years. Might as well hop in, give Rebels a shot. Loved it. Thought Rebels was absolutely amazing. Loved every single minute of it. It started a little slow, but now we're doing Clone Wars, which is actually pre-Rebels. We're doing it in the wrong order. Man, that show is like, I just feel like I'm committed and I have to make it through it, but it is so far not good. Anakin is the whiniest shit on the planet. Ahsoka I love her in Rebels, but I hate her in Clone Wars. She's
really
just a little whiny shit as well. She's like a little kid Padawan that just got assigned to Anakin, and they just bitch and moan at each other, and then like, well, we actually kind of like each other at the end. It's like, God damn it. It just makes me so angry. It's a children's TV show at the end of the day, so I can't expect too much, but
at the same time you can, because the other one was so good.
Yeah, Rebels was fantastic. Like a really nice treat. But I think they're supposed to be announcing a sequel to Rebels soon, so I'm excited about that. Okay, so I actually want to kind of just jump in and talk about coronavirus first, because this is relevant in gaming when we think about conventions and the way it's affecting some of these events. Namely, we just went to PAX East. There were definitely some paranoid people, but for the most part, the event felt like PAX. There were, yes, a lot of people with Purell at their station. At every single controller near Chivalry 2, there was a bottle of Purell, right? A lot of people had the masks on. Cool. The attendance, we can't really, I don't know what the official numbers looked like. We were there on a Thursday. It was definitely the lightest attendance I've ever seen. I've also never been there on a Thursday. So I don't really know if that's like people that are afraid to be attending. This was also a week ago in coronavirus world, was way less scary. Like the US government wasn't warning people as much as they have been the last few days. What do you think about that? Do you think that people might have strayed and decided to not go because of the threats of coronavirus, even though Boston really wasn't like a hot spot?
You can't help but think that had to have been it, but I also know that the floor was a lot better laid out this year.
I don't
And I
think
don't know
that's,
if
yeah, I don't think that's actually the factor though. I mean, the floor was better laid out, but there was a lot of room to move around too.
that might have been because, Sony left, and I know it seems like Final Fantasy kind of took over, but you don't know what they had planned for their booth, which could have pushed everything over, which could have made it feel a lot more cramped rather than just having a motorcycle, a store, which they were probably going to have anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to say. I didn't hear anything about attendance on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but I mean, Saturday and Friday were sold out. So whether people showed up or not, it's hard to say. Thursday was not even close to being sold out.
True.
So
yeah. I would assume it probably didn't affect the event too much, since when you look at New England and the Northeast in general, there's nothing like it. It really is like the only gaming event around. Sure, we have anime conventions and stuff and comic book conventions, but for gaming conventions, CT GamerCon is a thing, but it's nothing like PAX. That's really just tournaments and, Artist Alley, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I started to go into PAX because it was the only thing in this area, and it was so great because you had things like Hearthstone that were announced at PAX East, and
a bunch of Heroes of the Storm characters were announced there. I was brought up to be part of that. Like,
you're walking around and you're playing things for the first time. You're seeing things that are being announced. Overwatch was playable, I believe. The first time a demo was playable was at PAX.
The first time it was ever playable outside of the BlizzCon that it was announced was at PAX East.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why I've started going to PAX East. That's why I continue to go to PAX East. It's a really good time, and this was probably one of my favorite years of going, to be completely honest.
I had a great time
with what was there, and
we both had a lot of fun. And I guess since we're talking about PAX East, we can just kind of make that our first topic before we go more into the coronavirus discussion. We hung out together obviously the whole time. We played the same games. We hopped in, played Chivalry 2. Not really a lot to say on Chivalry 2. It's Chivalry 1 with better graphics. My big thing with that is I hope that the servers are good. If the servers are good, if they have dedicated servers for the game, I see the game having a strong player base. If the game does not have dedicated servers, people will buy it, people will play it a lot for 2 weeks, and people will fizzle out, and they'll shift to playing it at LAN parties. But I think it's going to be, if you don't know what Chivalry is, it is a melee combat game, medieval warfare. It is a lot of fun. Had many LAN parties with the first Chivalry game. Torn Banner Studios makes it. They're a cool group of guys. They make a solid product, but I really think dedicated servers are the thing that I'm kind of waiting to see. Fast forwarding, the only other game we really got to get hands on was Magic Legends. And what did you think?
Magic Legends, I had a great time. Chivalry, I probably will never play again. But it's
kind of why I railroaded that conversation, because I knew you didn't really have much to say. I was like, I like this game. I'm gonna buy it. Ryan's not sold. Oh, we're all deaf. We're all deaf now. Holy shit, Chrome, that was way too loud. I apologize.
So yeah, I mean, Magic Legends was a very pleasant surprise. I didn't really know it was going to be there, and then the moment I saw it, I was very curious. We were sold by one of the people working the booth. They're like, "Hey, we were going to get food or something."
We're trying to find food or snack or bathrooms or something.
Yeah, and then she was like, "It's only a 10-minute wait," and we're like, "Oh, sure. I'll play for 10 minutes," and then ended up leaving, and I had a fantastic time. I played the Mind Mage.
Yep. So this is like
a lot of fun.
Super pre-alpha footage. So what we played looked a lot better than this. These animations are, I don't know how old this video is. I just kind of quickly Googled it. Mind Mage and Geomancer were the two classes playable, the two that you see on the screen here. And it they called it an MMO when they first announced it. And I actually, when we first got in line, there was a dev right there. And I just, first thing I said to the guy, I'm like, okay, I just need to know, is this an MMO? Because so many companies use this term loosely. And he was like, yeah, we kind of screwed up there. No, it's not. We do need to kind of readdress that. It's an action RPG. It is completely an action RPG. The way that it's an MMO is that, unlike Diablo, which is all these randomly generated dungeons, this is one map. It's one living world that doesn't change. You'll learn your way around the map. There will be random events that spawn, I assume. I didn't actually confirm that. But it's ultimately an action RPG where you can kind of make your own class. They explained the Geomancer and the Mind Mage as being essentially a skeleton for your character, like a general skeleton. But the way that you'll end up building your playstyle and your class will be based on the spells that you decide to put in your deck, and as I use air quotations, because it's designed with the entire Magic ecosystem that we know, with all the different types of land in mind. So you could be green black if that's what you want to be. You want to use green black. You give yourself green black spells. Some will be all green, some will be all black, some might be a hybrid, and you'll have those two kinds of mana in your mana bar, and you'll have to manage those resources. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and even like when we were just watching that video, I saw that there was a green white deck or green white character Mind Mage, and that's what I always played. I always played a blue. I'm sorry, I think it's a blue white deck. I've always played a blue white deck. That was what I always loved to play. That's what I was always my play style. So just seeing that character can make that makes me really excited.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, and like, I guess the other thing that stood out to me with the game was when you first play, my character in the demo at PAX had like 12 spells or something, but you have, I think we were playing on a controller, which was a little bit jarring for me, but it felt better than I expected. You had like 6 buttons, maybe 8 buttons. So some of your spells would actually just rotate through. And some of your buttons, I guess, were just normal movement. So auto attack is just a thing. My Geomancer could punch. I think you probably shot missiles as Mind Mage. You shot missiles. My left trigger was like a leap, like a Sonya leap, where you choose where you want to go to. Did you have a blink or something?
It was you put up like a decoy, and
cool.
you got movement speed. So to get away from it, it was like basically a getaway attack.
Yeah. So basically, you have like an engage or a getaway, and then you have your auto attack of some kind. And then after that, you get a bunch of spells. And I think I had like, let's say 12 spells equipped. It would rotate. So I didn't have like a steady rotation available. Like I wouldn't just memorize, this is my attack pattern. It kind of shifted through them. And I assume that when you kind of design your character and you equip your spells, you'll be able to have more or less control over what spells you're going to be using. And kind of build your playstyle through that. Because some players might equip 18 spells or something and always be having to think about what they're doing, whereas other players could probably equip like 6 spells. But I'm not really fully sure how that's going to work in the end. It felt good to me, though. Did you like it?
I did, yeah. I'm excited for more information. Obviously, signed up for the beta. They had that option right there, and then suckered me right in. But we'll see. Yeah, I obviously am excited for Diablo 4, and this could be a contender. And I'm always, my experience with these types of games, they have a hard time holding me. I always love the leveling experience and leveling different characters, but the end game kind of gets repetitive and boring for me. So we'll see how this game differs from Diablo, or what even Diablo 4 can do differently, if it will intrigue me. But if it's a $40 to $60 game, I probably will end up getting it.
I'm buying it no matter what. I was just really sold on everything, the vision. It felt really good. Yeah. I like action RPGs a lot myself, but I don't know if you saw this. They released this artwork like today or yesterday, the Beast Collar.
I saw it on Twitter. I didn't get to look too much into it.
Yeah, I retweeted it. You probably saw or maybe you saw their tweet.
I do follow them, so I probably might have been one of the two. Couldn't tell you.
But it's interesting that the Beast Collar, like that just sounds like it's going to be a summoner class. But both of our
Hmm.
classes had a shitload of summons as it was. Like playing Geomancer, I had 3 different summons. I don't know
I
how
think I had
many.
like 6.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of these spells, I think that's probably my biggest complaint. And granted, we're playing like an early demo, but if all of my spells are just summon this thing to fight and do things for me, if that's like half my spells, I'm not interested in that unless you want to make that your play style. But that seemed very prominent at this event.
Yeah.
But it's early, who knows? I do like
Yeah,
the art style of this, and it sounds like we're going to have one class for each color. This
that
would
would
be the
make
green,
sense.
blue, red, green being shown. We'll get white and black as the last 2.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, green has always been like nature that kind of
Yep.
has the feeling of a druid. Blue has always been mage with like counter spells and all that fun stuff. Red, more direct damage. So I'm curious to see what they do for that. But yeah, I'm really curious to see like if we could come with like a necromancer for black. Um,
Oh, they're saying this is going to be melee combat swinging in the front line with their trusty Aether Fox fighting alongside them. Melee class, organic, green mana. Huh.
I could also see them. I mean, maybe not right at launch, but I could also see them doing, you know, melee class, range class for each of the colors.
Yep, true. Who knows?
There's a lot that you could do with this. So, I mean, I remember what was it last year? They released a cinematic for the release of their new deck, their new cards, and it just looks so cool. And all I wanted was like an MMO from them or this.
Well,
So
there you go.
that's again what I asked for. I didn't think I ever would because they always seem just to be about magic. But I mean, Wizard of the Coast owns so much now that there's another D&D Magic book coming out in June or something like that. So they released their first one last year. So Magic is making its way into the world, which is cool.
It's been expanding slowly but surely, and it's never really felt like it faltered. I mean, Magic's been there since, I don't know, forever. Feels like.
I played in the 90s. That's
I
probably the
don't.
last time I played. So because by the time I was in high school, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So
Yeah,
almost
I
30
probably
something years.
started in 2002 for Magic myself. But all right, we got so much to talk about. We got to go rapid fire with the topics here. Baldur's Gate 3, the big announcement at PAX, the biggest announcement at PAX. The hall filled up, and
I'm
then
mad at them.
we tried sneaking over to the booth to play. Ryan, what happened when we went to the booth?
She lied to us.
We
we
got,
so
we
I
got
was like
straight
they were like
lied to. Yeah.
they were like come there the sign said come for 4 and I was like okay well maybe we can wait maybe we can line up now, and then we were kind of hovering and then other people started to line up and I was like oh cool, like let's line up, I don't mind waiting if you want to go walk around, like this is one of the things I'm here for. And then woman comes over and she's like oh you can't line up now, come back at like 3:45.
So we do.
And so we come back at like 3:30 because we played Magic and then went right back or something like that.
Yeah, it was like
And she was
3:36.
she was like, "Oh, it's filled," and there was only like 8 people. And she's like, "Oh, we can't wait anymore." And I'm talking to her, and 3 people get out of line, and she was like, "Oh, there's room for 3 people," and then 3 other people jump in line. And I was like, "I'm standing here talking to you about this."
There was 3 of
She
us.
just
There was 3 of
ignored,
us. Like she like
completely looked
throws
past
3
me.
people in the line in front, which was savage. It was just fucking savage. So then we came back at like 4:30. She's like, come back at 4:30 or whatever. Not
And
only
it's
is there
completely
no one
closed
in
down.
line and it's like shut down, the convention floor is open for another hour and a half. They're not letting people in to play it, and the employees are standing around doing God knows what, like laughing and like just joke. Like what the fuck? Like you
With a
guys
sign
paid,
that says "Come back tomorrow."
yeah, you guys paid how much money for this booth, and you're not gonna let people utilize it? Maybe they had a problem. Maybe they have a tech issue. They had to shoot
Also,
people away. I don't.
Also, with that being said, I'm still gonna buy this day one. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, Larian. I still love you.
You better. You better.
But no, it was very poorly. I mean, it's hard because a lot of the times, it's like 50% contract workers, 50% actual workers. So who knows if she was part of PAX or whatever, but man,
She
it's
ruined everything.
Yeah, she I was okay with it except for when people got out of line and then she looked straight past me while I was talking to her and asked if there was 3 people who wanted to get in line. And I was like, I do. And then she took 3 other people and put them in line. I was like, now it's full. She's like, yeah.
To be fair, it happened really fast, and those people basically jumped past us. But
I understand that,
they
but
like leapt, and it's just like, come on.
yeah, whatever.
Sometimes you
But
just can't win.
the I mean, people were surprised it looks like Divinity 2. I think those people were silly to think it was going to be anything else. Uh, I love Divinity 2. I'm so excited for a more traditional 5e D&D style game. I think if there's a team that can do it, it's them, and I will be playing this day one, and I will be playing it for 200 hours unless some fluke they screw this up.
Do I have to play the other ones
No.
to play this one?
Nope.
Because I'm interested.
Should you? Yes. Do you? No.
Man, if I didn't work 2 jobs, I'd have more time to play games. But when I look at committing to like a series that I'm behind on, it's like, can I do that right now? Do I want to do that?
It's the thing that I love about Divinity 2, because that's what we're talking about. You don't have to play Divinity 1. You can just go straight to Divinity 2. Divinity 1's a great game, but if you're going to play one, play the second one.
Here's the so I can go play Divinity 2 and then go to Baldur's Gate 3? Does that make sense for me to do that?
You're not going to go back and play Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. They're completely separate games.
Okay, that's why I was confused.
Yeah, no. You do not need to play Baldur's Gate 1 or 2.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
So I own Divinity 2.
Correct.
So to play that,
because the game's going to be more like this. This is more like Divinity 2.
All right, I can get
whereas
behind
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 is not like that. Which is why people are upset.
Are they in Mordor? Why is there a walking hand? Is that a summon?
Are they in Mordor? Yeah. Yes. They are in Mordor. That is a
tentacle brains.
Yeah.
Is that a outsider? What is that?
I can't. Is that a mind flayer?
Maybe it's a mind flayers. I thought were bigger than that, but maybe it is a mind flayer.
Oh yeah, it's a devourer. Yeah, they're like a.
Okay.
So they're like part of mind flayers. They
right.
I'm pretty sure they're the ones who like suck your brain. They can literally like make you stupid. They like make your intelligence 0.
Yeah, okay. It's funny because I play D&D, but I'm still a novice, and a lot of my D&D knowledge comes from books that obviously play off D&D. Well, yeah, I also play homebrew, so
yeah. So who knows what he's doing?
It is mostly D&D creatures though.
Oh, it is.
As much as the homebrew world, it's pretty much D&D creatures and everything. Like there's bugbears, there's everything in the world. So. Yeah, I don't know. Looks neat. I'm interested. I'm sure, like you said, the fan base is torn, but
yeah. And even back to what you were saying, just quickly, and then we can move on. This is definitely a game where you can play for 30 minutes to an hour, like because it's all turn based. It's all very slow moving in that sense. That you can kind of play it here and there and slowly get through. You don't have to like sit down and dedicate time to. So I think, obviously it's more fun if you can dedicate, but what game isn't? But I think it's something like, even I know you've talked about playing it with your wife and things like that, where I think you could, sit down, launch it up, play for a little bit, complete a quest, complete 2 quests, move the story along, save it, move on, do a combat, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I think we'll have to look into that. Like right now, we're still hooked on the Raft co-op, which we're probably going to be doing later tonight. And then we've been itching to get back in the forest just because we like those kind of co-op experiences. But yeah, maybe one of these days we will properly dive into Divinity. I do want to kind of cycle back to talk about just coronavirus and how that's affecting a lot of things. If you guys haven't heard the news across the globe, there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different events that have been affected by coronavirus. So one, namely the most recent thing, is Game Developers Conference had to reschedule completely as developer after developer were backing out right before the event was about to take place, saying we're not
Crazy.
going to be sending our employees there. We want to protect their health. We don't want to be submitting them to travel and to dealing with people, all commuting in one location from across the globe. That's the best way to get sick, is to be traveling. So GDC canceled. IEM Katowice over in Poland happened the same weekend as PAX, just last weekend. They had no live audience. They announced this within 24 hours of the event going live. All the competitors, all the tournament staff, they were all there, but the people that bought their flights, bought their tickets to attend the event could not go inside. I think it's tough to make those decisions. They apologized profusely, just saying we're so sorry to have to do this, but we really got to take this seriously. Coronavirus is a threat to, well, not everyone, but anyone with weak lungs, older people, younger people. It's a scary thing. It's basically like a flu strain. If you haven't been following the news, yes, coronavirus is a real thing and it's continuing to spread. What else? E3. They were talking about what they want to do. They're looking at it. However, I got an email today from them. I don't know if it was automated, about like, oh, E3 is coming. So I don't know what's happening there on E3.
No,
yeah.
I think there's a really good chance that E3 gets canceled, and that's insane. I also did a little research because we were trying to figure out if E3 had been canceled before, and I couldn't find anything about it. I mean, I didn't do extensive research, but only thing I really remember happening is when they announced it for the public, but I couldn't find anything with my 5-minute internet research.
Well, what I can say, 7 hours ago, E3 registration is now open. I got an email asking me to register. I don't know. But yeah,
interesting.
I think they'll have to make that call pretty soon. It's scary though. All these things. You want to check them out. You want to go to them. You want to be able to serve your audience and create this event that you do every year. I think what you said about E3 when we were talking earlier, like if it is canceled this year, is it like the nail in the coffin? We've already got more and more major publishers backing away from E3 because of the cost and the return isn't there. PlayStation is 2 years in a row now not going to be there. Sony, we
it wasn't last year.
Yep. Sony backed out of PAX already because they were worried about health. So it's tough. It's a tough time right now for a lot of these companies that want to be putting these events on, and their livelihoods might exist on it. And then we can talk about coronavirus and Smash Brothers, these Smash tournaments. Like, those kids are just straight up dirty. They just straight up don't wash their hands. I'm not saying all of them, but there is a decent portion of them where in fighting game communities, period, hygiene is a problem. Card games, Yu-Gi-Oh, you name it, hygiene is a problem. I'm not calling you out personally if you go to these
PAX
events,
East.
I used to be a smasher, went to tournaments all the time, and trust me, I know firsthand, and it hasn't changed. I don't know how deodorant companies aren't sponsors of some of these pro gaming teams, because holy shit, they need to sponsor these kids to give them free deodorant. But it's kind of scary when you think about this. I work in retail. I deal with tons of people all the time. And I can tell you, Purell, all these things are sold out. So it's a pretty real thing that we're going through, even if it might seem minor. But Boko was talking in Discord. He lives up in the Seattle area. He said all school classes have been canceled. My wife's best friend lives in Italy. All colleges in Italy are closed for the next 6 weeks. 6 weeks where schools are just closed. Like, this is hitting everywhere right now, and it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, I hope it gets better soon, but I don't know. Buy your canned goods, kids.
Yeah, it escalated quickly. I feel like it was such a non-threat, and I mean, granted, I know that it's such a threat to such a small percentage, and there are things that are taking people out more and more often, and I understand that, but it's still, we're not looking at the Black Plague or anything like that, but it's still scary.
Well, Black Plague was humans.
Well, you know what,
right? Yeah,
and that's killing over 50% of the population, whereas this is 2% or something like that. Not 2% of the population, but like 2% of people die or something like that when they get it.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's very interesting to see where it goes. It comes at a very interesting time with I'm not going to get into politics, but the election's coming up, and it's I'm very curious to watch it and see what happens, and continue to work from home.
I know, right? That's kind of where I'm like, okay, all right, how do I get that esports job again? I'm
Don't
trying.
touch anybody.
I'm trying, guys. Get me out of retail. Put me back on that computer. Let me produce you some dank content 10 days a week. I don't care if I have to bend time. I'll make it happen. Just get me away from that coronavirus and all will be good. All right, we need to keep chugging along. There's so
one
much.
last thing.
Okay.
One last thing. Did you see
Get
the
it.
Oh, I wish I could know the stat. It was something like Corona sales are actually down because
38%.
38% of people think that it has to do with it.
Corona sponsored me. I'll become your spokesperson. It's really funny, and I've seen all these joke articles like Corona offers to pay $10 million to get them to change the name of the virus. Corona also offers to pay $15 million to get them to rename it Bud Light virus.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a real article.
No,
I hope
I'm
it was
sure
a
it's
joke
the
article.
Onion.
It wasn't the Onion, but I assume it was something similar.
But yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because that's the world we live in.
All right. Last year, end of October, Riot came out and showed us a bunch of new games. We now know that their shooter is called Valorant. We basically had figured out before this that it was going to be a blend between the class-based shooters of Overwatch and Team Fortress and Counter-Strike and the methodology of that. Really, it looks like it's Counter-Strike, just a pure on Counter-Strike clone where you have characters that have abilities. So it is, but it looks like it's just going to play just like Counter-Strike. You move faster when you have a knife in your hand. You buy weapons for the round, and it's a tried and true formula, which is by far the best formula for esports shooters in just a competitive sense. There's an economy, there's strategy, there's round to round. It's fast, it's fluid, it's fun. Winning a round is like scoring a goal in soccer or making a basket, right? It feels more like soccer than the other sports because it's like boom, point on the board, boom, point on the board, and you progress, and it feels very good. It feels honestly, I'm like looking at esports more objectively than ever recently, and I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, what do I like to watch? And I don't even play Counter-Strike. It's one of my favorite esports to watch. Melee, fighting games that progress fast where the narrative continues to tick forward. I like that a lot. More so than say Dota or League of Legends.
Yeah, you don't want that hour-long game that you have to sit down there and commit to, and then next thing you know, you turn away for 3 minutes.
And you miss the one big play.
You miss the one big play and the push to the core, and then it's over. Like it's all fun and dandy, but sometimes that sucks. I mean, we always talk about how I'm always the one watching Race to World First, and then I miss the kill, and it sucks. It really sucks. But
it does. But I mean, that's totally different beast, I feel. But you're right. I mean, that's definitely a valid point here. I think the other strength of this kind of format with like fighting games and especially like CSGO is you can kind of like be at the bar having this in the background and like loosely pay attention and know what's happening. You just look at the score. Cool, they won the round. If something crazy happens, obviously people are going to be going like, whoa, they're going to be like something crazy happened. They're going to show a replay. And that story is going to tell itself. They just released another video showcasing one of the characters. Maybe they only put it on Twitter. You turds, put it on your YouTube.
I've seen 2. I've seen the guy with the firewall, and I've seen the girl with the white hair.
Hi, Gabby. Valorant.
Yeah, I mean it's even defusing the bombs. It's
oh no, it is straight up Counter-Strike. Like it is not even trying to scoot around.
And why should they?
Yeah, they're just like, look, we're loud, we're proud, we're Counter-Strike too.
Yeah, Phoenix is the only one I can remember too. I can't remember the other one.
Looks cool. I think there are ults.
I'm wondering how.
they're not gonna be Overwatch ults. They're not gonna be like we kill your team. They're gonna be like I drop this drone and it scans and we can see where they are. They're gonna be things like that. Maybe field of view, maybe I don't know, stuff like that. And they'll probably be you can use it once every 3 rounds kind of deal. Like you build up from performance.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna play it. It's not really for me. But
Yeah,
it looks cool. I'll watch it. I mean, I watch Overwatch and I don't play that, so
I think I am gonna play this. I'm actually pretty
if it's
damn
free to
excited.
play, I'll definitely try.
It might be. I'm actually super curious what that is going to look like in terms of business model with Overwatch being a purchase game. I think that probably hurts it a little bit when it comes to the landscape. We look at the biggest esports as being pretty much free to play that have cosmetics. They're already showing off cool stuff here. You change this dude's fire to be blue for $3. Boom. He's my main. Hell yeah, I'm going to have the purple fire.
Apparently, they said it's free to play, so
Oh, hell yeah. I mean,
yeah, then I'll definitely play it.
yeah, 100% gonna play this game. I like the art style. It feels more mature than League of Legends. League of Legends is, I mean, every female has a giant chest, and trust me, every 18-year-old boy loves that. They're like, give me that.
And 34-year-old.
Ari, sure, whatever. You know, but like to an extent, like I would much rather look at this art style, like 100%
I
of the time.
get it.
100% of the time. I like this girl here. What's going on with her arm? Why is it all blue? I like it. That's all I know.
Yeah, those are the 2 characters that I've seen.
I think they're the only 2 that they've really shown.
Yeah.
And I think I read that there's 8 characters right now, but I could be incorrect.
Well, it doesn't seem like a lot, but
you don't want to have too many, and I think that's really important.
well, I think what's also kind of cool about this game is I don't think you're gonna have the crazy metas that you have with like Overwatch because it's so much. I mean, there will be better skills and things along those lines, but it's kill based. Especially if you only have 8 characters, that's more than 50% of your players are going to be picked, or your playable characters. So should be interesting.
Look at this girl. She's got poison or smoke or something. Defy the limits. I'm just on their official Twitter, like just kind of perusing. Looks cool. I'm very excited. It seems like there's going to continue being news rolling out. Launch is in June.
Yeah, summer.
So it's really not that far away. Like,
it's also in June.
what's that?
The Ghost of, I forgot. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Did you see the link I sent you?
I saw it. I can't say I clicked on it. Oh, thanks for the PSN noise.
This is
Sucker Punch.
we've talked about how you're much more into Neo Japan. This is much more where I grew up loving Japan. I love the
feudal Japan,
and samurais, and this game just has me so hyped. I'm hoping for like
genre.
See, honestly, I don't really know.
He doesn't even know.
To me, it's looking like a Last of Us like single player experience, like action game.
I mean,
but I could see it also.
So.
I could also see it being like Dark Souls, frankly.
That's
like
kinda,
it has like
okay,
like a Ninja Gaiden style, but it looks wonderful.
I think one of my biggest complaints with these games is I feel like it's very difficult to give it a separate identity from the other IPs that are in this. And I think a big part of that is honestly my fault and a lot of other Western people's fault because of our lack of knowledge about the happenings that go on here. So like obviously there's the standard armor and outfits which are historically accurate. You've got the swords, the katana, the kunai, all those different weapons that are historically accurate, and then storytelling. But I mean, I assume this is fantasy. I assume this is not a true story, right? So that's not even relevant. But for whatever reason, for me, I just don't care. And I'm the biggest weeb right? I'm the biggest weeb you'll ever meet. But I've never been into this But okay, all right, we're seeing gameplay. Maybe I care.
It looks like it could be a really cool single player experience. Which is that's the games I like to play, as I'm talking about playing through the entire Resident Evil series. Um, I think it looks awesome. It's PS4 exclusive,
All right, don't care anymore.
but I think Sony's doing a
Oh, he's
great
got the
job
Oni mask. Okay, for whatever reason,
closing
you,
out
you,
the.
you put on the Oni mask, the demon mask, and I'm like, okay, this is cool now. That's very ninja though. Ninjas are better than
Nah,
samurai. That's just so you know.
that's fine. I don't care that much.
Shonen. It's
Yeah,
beautiful. I'm interested.
they announced the release date, so I'm intrigued. I hope it's a lot more linear.
I hope it's Breath of the Wild. I want to climb a mountain and jump off.
I figured as much. Like honestly, it's probably gonna be like Red Dead, but with samurais. And I'm gonna play it.
If put that online and we're in. Suddenly I'm a samurai.
So I mean, it looks beautiful. It's definitely. I love this end of console that we're seeing right before the release of the PS5 and Xbox. I don't remember what it's called. I don't care that much.
Scarlet?
I love what they're doing. I think that was the code name. I don't think it's called that anymore.
Huh.
But
all right.
yeah, I that game got announced today, and that made me really excited. Series X, yeah. I'm gonna forget that name the moment the show's over. That's how much I care about the Xbox.
Series X. One of the things I did want to talk about was actually Warcraft 3 Reforged, but we're gonna save that for another show just because there's so much to discuss. Reforged had its first tournament.
Don't worry, they'll keep screwing up.
And yeah, it won't be the last we hear of it. But let's just say the LAN event didn't go well. There was,
to say the least,
problems. They took LAN out of the game because it wasn't a needed feature. Anyways, new Star Wars.
Could you imagine playing Smash, being up against whoever, and you being up 2 stocks to 0,
sitting next to
and
him
then
in person,
the game disconnecting, and then having to play again, and then lose?
No, do it again, and then it happens again.
Sorry, you're right.
And then you say, okay, we're just gonna plug Melee in, and you play a different version of the game, and then you lose. That's what happened. They had to go back to the old client. They had to like literally install old Warcraft 3 and play on LAN because it was an option for Warcraft 3, and that's how they were able to play. Anyways, I said we weren't going to talk about it.
Sorry, I just had to say that because that tilted me, and I don't even care. Like that's just
God. And it was Thorazine versus Moon. It's like 2 gods, and Moon was going to lose. And so there's a new game that got put onto the PS4 game store and was quickly pulled down. It is a game called Project Maverick, or it's a Star Wars Project Maverick. We don't really know what it is, but the page was leaked. It has a multiplayer component. It is not listed as a VR game, even though it was speculated to be a VR game. The listing appears to be for a beta of some kind. 4 X-Wings seen flying towards a Star Destroyer in the imagery, which I guess I can pull up here. And yeah, you can see the little baby X-Wings here and the Star Destroyer up here. They're fighting on some kind of volcanic planet, sun, something. But we don't really have any other details beyond this. I'm personally just excited to see more potential games from the Star Wars franchise coming out, especially if they're going to be air combat related, because that's something I've been itching for. Another Rogue Squadron, maybe taking that to the modern level, which hasn't. What's the last time we had a game like that? Like, what's the last one? I couldn't even tell you.
Jedi Starfighter, Xbox.
What year? Yeah. What year was that?
It's been a minute. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing. I mean, there was some in like Battlefront, but even then, that was.
Oh my god, no! That's so.
That was a long time ago.
I tried playing that game. I owned Battlefront 2. I tried playing the aerial combat, and it's so dumbed down. I couldn't even do it.
Oh, I meant Battlefront 1, but
Okay, I
yeah,
played
I
Battlefront
forgot about
2.
Battlefront 2. But
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
no, I think I hope we got our Jedi Dark Souls game. And obviously, I have my opinions on it that are different from others,
Sure.
but
Yeah, yeah.
I was still really happy that they got one, and they're gonna make a second one, and that makes me really excited, and I'll play that one too.
You're gonna be
And I
Darth
think
Maul in the
it's
second one.
probably not, but okay. They're probably still Cal, uh, but they need to come out with a Rogue Squadron type game. I
I'm
can't
with you.
believe that it's been this long. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Um, Tamley, I can imagine Battlefront 2 is a good game. I did play it recently, and to me, the flight combat just felt way too simple. But then again, I'm also like the guy that has two joysticks and flight pedals that wants to pilot like a real spaceship, and I do that in Star Citizen. So maybe my my hopes were probably too high to begin with. But that's my problem. So you just want to run around as an Ewok and stab people. See, I haven't actually tried that part yet. So maybe that's what I need to do is shout
I'm
Utini.
sold. I own the game. I bought it at launch.
I, I bought it for $3 in sale value.
That is value.
There's a lot of other game news. I feel like we're missing some big stuff. Let's we talk. What do we know about this Lord of the Rings MMO?
We know that it's allegedly free to play, and we know that it is. I think they're working with a Chinese developer on it, which makes me kind of worried, because I'm to me thinks it's going to be very very heavy in the pay to win area. But if I can for free run around Middle Earth, I'm in. I don't really need much other convincing than that. Just give me a solid Middle Earth. I don't need to worry about endgame. I will enjoy leveling up from 1 to whatever. Even if I only make it to 30, that's like I recently played the Dungeons and Dragons one just so I could run around Waters Deep and all these other places just to experience it. I only got to like level 35 out of 80 or whatever it is, but it was free to play and it was perfect. So if they can deliver a solid experience like that, give me a World of Warcraft clone. I don't care. Just put it in the Lord of the Rings universe. Let me run around Middle Earth. Let me go to the Shire. Let me go wherever. I will be so happy. I will be so happy.
As long as it's done well, yeah.
I almost downloaded the old Lord of the Rings MMO the other night after just discovering this, but that's look, they have a lot of expansions and they're asking for quite a bit amount of money to get caught up. I can't believe that game is still being made, frankly.
This is fascinating. You said a Chinese studio, but I don't know if that's correct. I'm just doing some quick last minute digging. There's a new studio. It looks new out of Burbank, California, called Athlon Games. Oh, they do also have a Hong Kong studio office.
Yep.
I see.
Yeah. They're Liu Technologies, I think, is their own, which is
Leiyu
based out of Hong
Technologies
Kong.
is their owner. Yeah,
And that's who I was talking about.
Gotcha. So Athlon is a studio in California, and they're going to be working. They're in Burbank, and Amazon is in Irvine. It's right next to Blizzard, actually. Like the Blizzard parking garage. I've been to both their
Amazon's not in
studios.
San Diego.
No, well, Amazon Game Studios has a few studios. They have one up north, but their main office is right next to Blizzard, because the Blizzard parking garage is touching the parking lot for Amazon Game Studios, which is
Interesting. Okay.
because I've actually worked at both Blizzard
That's right.
Entertainment and I've worked at Amazon Game Studios with them on content creation, and Amazon's working on New World. I met some of the staff that made that game. I got to play that game really early in development. And New World is built on the Lumberyard engine, which is what Star Citizen is using. And Lumberyard engine is becoming what will likely be the next generation of MMO engines to enable true, massively multiplayer online worlds for a really, really next generation experience in terms of, bigger servers and all of that good stuff. I don't know anything about this Athlon studio, but it says that the New World team will be working with them on this game. So they're going to be sharing resources, making this Lord of the Rings MMO. We also have to look at the fact that Amazon has paid like $2 billion for the rights to make a Lord of the Rings TV show. They're making I don't know if it's Silmarillion. I don't know what they're going to end up calling
Second
it.
Age.
Second Age. So pre-Lord of the Rings movies, TV show, which means we'll get Gandalf and Legolas probably. Yeah. But they're going in. They're going in. They want to really invest in that IP, and it's promising.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings. It's probably my favorite movie, like of like the Harry Potters, of the Star Wars. It's Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings, not Hobbit, because I hate those movies. But I I just really dislike those
They're
movies.
pretty bad. They shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't have been 3. They shouldn't have been 4 movies.
I read somewhere that Guillermo del Toro almost did The Hobbit instead of Martin. Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit, that could have been. It could have been so cool, because it would have been a very. I feel like it would be completely different movies. Not necessarily dark, but probably.
You can make it very dark. I mean, yeah. But Lord of the Rings, I'm all for it. More content, the better. I'm excited for this show. They're touching upon an age that we do not know much about, as far as like in the media world. There's a lot of cool. There's like a sunken island that we can talk about. There's a lot of really cool places that they can talk about in the show, and I'm really happy with it, because originally it was supposed to be young Aragorn, and that would have been cool, but I think this is going to be so much better, because we can get into like the creation of the rings and all that other fun stuff.
That is cool. When we're talking about different eras, and like I have to go on a random tangent here. There's a lot of room for them to play with here in this IP, and that's becoming like one of the new trends that I'm hoping we see more of. And well, guess what? We are. Star Wars: The High Republic was just announced, which is another new timeline where basically Star Wars is saying, okay, this is 200 years before Anakin. So it's been 800 years without any Sith. The Jedi are at the height of their power, and they're like policing the galaxy and doing all kinds of other shit. This is a new IP that's not going to be a TV show. It's not going to be a movie. They're working with Marvel Comics to create a series of comics, and they're working with a bunch of writers. They're going to write novels and children's books and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to see all kinds of cool illustrations and new characters born. They talked about the possibility of like almost like a ranger that kind of travels the outer rim of space and he's a Jedi and polices space, space Western Jedi kind of stuff. We some of the artwork, we see Wookiee Jedis, we see all different color lightsabers being used. So we're seeing kyber crystals that are green, blue, purple, but also gold, like rays, and maybe we'll see more white ones and stuff like that. So I actually think this is interesting. And yes, I know a lot of people I hear Tanley talking about Old Republic, wanting that. There's a lot of potential that we'll see that done for the next trilogy in Star Wars. But I'm glad we're getting something new and fresh that could yield something a little bit different than the Old Republic, because this gives a lot of creative freedom to writers and new world building to happen.
I won't watch it, but yeah, I'm down.
There's no show. It's books.
Oh, it's a book. I won't read it. I definitely won't read it.
Fair enough.
Give me a Knights of the Old Republic remake. That's the only demand I have.
Fair
Did
enough.
Did you see like Star Wars writers or whoever are they're all like retconning and giving their reasons for things happening in the new movie?
Oh jeez.
Explaining like who people are and how the Rey and Kylo kiss actually wasn't romantic.
I don't even care about episode 9 at this point. I had fun with it. I watched it once. I almost don't want to ever watch it again, because I feel like I'll hate it if I watch it again. But I had fun with it the first viewing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Probably won't unless someone makes me.
All right, looks like it's a date.
That person might be listening who might make me.
Oh shit. All right, we can make this happen. Your birthday's coming up. We're gonna have
Oh boy, lucky me.
to.
Just what I want to do on my birthday.
All right, last topic of the night is Immortal Gates of Pyre. And there's not really a ton to talk about this game. I more or less wanted to bring it up and follow its progress moving forward on this show because I'm pretty interested in it. So Immortal Gates of Pyre is a real-time strategy game that is being designed to be a competitive RTS. The last real competitive RTS to came out in 2010. It's been like 10 years. That's StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2, of course, has live development, has live design, has had multiple expansions, and is still a successful esport. It has a 3-year contract with StarCraft 2 and ESL and DreamHack. They're doing their thing, and it's awesome. For me, StarCraft 2 is really one of the bigger, maybe the biggest gateway into esports for me because it's what got me to end up eventually starting podcasting and eventually became a commentator on my own. But they've basically just started doing what they call show and tells. They do like little dev Q&As where they show off units, they show off a little bit of gameplay. Like they haven't really shown off too much, but they're making their own StarCraft 2 essentially. It's obviously going to be very different, but there's multiple races with a lot of different units, and but it really just feels like it's fully inspired by SC2 and to become something new and interesting. And I find it fascinating because that seems like this is a dead genre, right? How many RTSs do you play, Ryan?
0. I played StarCraft 1 in college because I was forced to, because everyone in my group, we were LANing it. So I had to learn it there and then. Actually, I'm sorry. I played Warcraft. That was probably the last one I really played. But other than that, I can't. Age of Empires 2, I played a lot of. I'm lying.
Okay.
What else did I play?
So you played
I think that was it. Yeah, Age of Empires 2 and Warcraft 3 were probably my big ones. But it also goes back to I'm much more of a like medieval times fantasy than I am a space nerd. So like StarCraft never appealed to me.
So what about something like this that's like fantasy?
I'm intrigued, but I am too old to really get into any RTSs. Maybe watch it. Yeah, I'd be down for that. I mean, I loved watching StarCraft at BlizzCon this year.
Oh, that's right. I made you watch it with me.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed learning about it because I'm a lover of all games as long as they're not bad. So I would definitely be interested in looking into this and watching it possibly.
Equal opportunity lover is what we call that.
Yeah. I mean, like I went to Fortnite World Cup and I played maybe 100 games of Fortnite in my life. And that's where me dying there's still 80 people left. Nice. So like it's just one of those things. Like I'll watch any game, and if they put out a good fun game, I'll definitely check it out on Twitch. But I mean, I definitely won't pay for the game. If it's free to play, then maybe. But even then, I think that's a long shot because I don't have the patience to learn a game like that and become good at it. So I won't.
I think that's true for a lot of people that are, 30 plus.
Yeah.
At that point, the amount of time you have to invest into playing a game, if you have to sit down, study, learn builds, it's daunting. And I would agree with that if I hadn't done it so much in the past. Even then, I look at some games nowadays and I'm just like, oh man, I just do not have the willpower to learn this. But yeah, who knows? I'm excited for it. I think it's interesting to see that there's a studio basically trying to make their own mark on the RTS realm because there has been a vacancy in that. People have been hoping for, obviously people thought maybe Reforged would be something new for the RTS realm to bring people back from, War 3, and it's not been as smooth as we could all hope for. But the other final remark I'll make about Immortal Gates of Pyre is when I joined their Discord community, the number of absolute gods from StarCraft 2 that are in that Discord is immediately what made me go, oh, okay. Like
it's got people's attention.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like a lot of big names. You name it, they're in there. So I just took a quick look at the Discord and I was like, wow, Okay, color me interested in this game. Can't wait to see how it goes. You know, if there's actual StarCraft 2 pro player feedback and input, and they're able to make a good game, then it could be something really special. Who knows? It's gonna be fun to follow the progression on that. Lord of the Rings MMO we mentioned earlier. Don't know how long it's gonna be before we see anything on that. I think it'll probably be a hot minute. Probably
Yeah,
won't
I
even see
mean,
gameplay for. It was announced in 2018 technically, so it's been
I
two
was gonna
years.
say like, and it's been like the last article I could find on it was December 7th or
Yeah,
something like that, and even then it wasn't any
it was just like,
information.
hey, this is
It
a
was like
thing.
someone just found out about it, and they're like, oh, let's write about this.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know how soon we're going to be getting anything tangible, but still exciting to know that there's something coming.
Yeah, I want an MMO.
I
Probably just
know.
have to wait for Shadowlands, which I'm excited about, but at the same time, I want a new world to learn and love. And I even every time we were recently talking in my D&D group, we got into a topic about dragons and how everyone pulls from D&D and from D&D pulled from probably something before, whether it's mythology or whatever, but Blizzard is a culprit of you know there's a dwarf named Murd in D&D. Like it's like they're
Yeah,
like they didn't even try sometimes. And
no,
you
yeah,
know we're there's a dragon, I forget the dragon's name, but he was drove crazy, and he's crazy and he destroys everything. And so we got into the topic of Deathwing,
yep,
and then I just like vomited lore to like everyone I was talking to, and they were like, "Oh, so you like World of Warcraft?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." I just really do. I love that lore, and I just we've Blizzard has been hurting us, and I just want something else to delve into who will love me back equally, and it's not them right now.
Magic Legends is this year.
And I love the lore of Magic. I don't know
I
much
think
about it, but it's cool.
I think that's a world that could, just thinking about like Slither and having Slithers as enemies in the world. That's cool, right? There's
Hmm.
just like a lot of different creatures that, it'll be cool to fight them in that setting. And I think there's so many of us that have played Magic. Maybe we don't play now, but if you're playing Hearthstone, there's a good chance if you're 30 years old or around 30 and you play Hearthstone that you probably played Magic or
Yep.
Pokemon or something.
Yep. Or Yu-Gi-Oh. One
Or
of those three, I
Yu-Gi-Oh.
would guarantee.
I
And
played
if it's
Pokemon and
not all
Magic
three,
myself. Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh was the only one I missed.
yeah.
Um,
When we were playing the Magic game, they kept we were helping out Sarah, and I just like my first thought was Sarah Angels, and I was like, man, I hate that fucking card. Like that's literally where my
yeah.
brain goes. So
And the
it,
Planeswalkers are all, going to
yep,
be there and present. So there's a lot of stuff to build on. And they've got plenty of lore, that's for sure. But it
absolutely.
says PC release date 2020. Closed beta begins supposedly this spring.
That game
So
looked finished.
it did.
Finished is like a strong word to use, but I've seen games come out that have been less finished than what I played.
Absolutely. Like that was full on. It felt like it felt newer than Diablo 3. Graphically, it was very clean, very a little bit brighter than Diablo. Felt similar and different at the same time. And I don't know. Yeah, those assets were done. Like every
Yeah,
asset we saw in that demo was 100%.
those animations were 100%
Yep.
everything. Yep,
Yep. So
agreed.
maybe I mean, we just saw them show off like this new druid class. I'm sure we'll see more, but I'm pretty pumped for that beta. Diablo 4 is still higher on my anticipation list. It's further off, but Diablo 4 at BlizzCon, definitely more impressed from that gameplay than Magic. Personally, I think it's going to come down to the guts, though, the core of the mechanics and customization and all of that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one other thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, okay. You guys need to go. I can link it in the information on YouTube and everything else. Go to @Doom, just Doom, the official Doom Twitter, and they posted a behind the scenes of the Doom Eternal soundtrack where they got metal musicians from pretty much the full range of metal that you can imagine and got them together, and they did like a little behind the scenes video, and it's probably like 3 minutes, Yeah, 4-minute video. Check it out. I'm not going to play it on stream. I'm not going to make you guys listen to a documentary style video during a podcast, but I thought it was really cool. Let me see if I can just share this with chat right now because I thought it was badass. But yeah, I'm pumped for that game. I'm sad that we didn't know it was at the Discord booth at PAX, so we could have got to try it.
I literally found out via an IGN podcast. They're like, yeah, we got to play Doom in the Discord booth. And I was like, wait, what? And then I immediately Googled it and I was like, oh, okay. That would have been fun to know, but it makes sense because they were supposed to be with Sony showing off their game and got last moment and they had to scramble to find a place, and Discord took him in with open arms, and Discord probably had everything all set up for what they were going to do.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any need to say it. It's Discord, but man, it would have been nice to. We even like walked by Discord 3 times and we're like, we don't need to go in there.
Yeah. I'm a Discord partner too, and I was like, it's busy over there right now. Like, check it out later. Now that we're talking about PAX again, there's this trend apparently. They're not the only. I mean, Doom, they had their booth canceled, but Star Citizen was going to be there, and I was like, cool, I'm going to go to their booth. We were like walking around looking at the map, like, where's Cloud Imperium Games? Like, where are they? I can't find them anywhere. You find an article from like 2014, you're like, oh, well, they're over here. You're like, wait, this article's from 2014. They were just like walking around handing out stickers and shit. So I was pretty sad. I never got to find them. Never got to get my sticker for Star Citizen. Feels bad.
Shout out to, was it Fan Geek?
Fan Gamer?
Fan Gamer, yeah, Fan Gamer from my wonderful Stardew Valley vinyl.
I mean,
that
you
thing
bought
is
it. Oh, wait, you shot in the
wonderful.
mouth. You gave him like $60 for that thing.
I know, because I couldn't find it. That thing's like 150 online.
Well, nice. Value.
Yeah. Great product.
Did you listen to it with your record player?
I did.
You have a record player? I'm proud of you. I was actually.
I got it. I got it for Gabby.
Oh, okay, nice.
I got it for Gabby. I actually got it for her before I bought the record, and then I was like, oh, she likes Stardew. Yeah, I like Stardew. I'll buy it.
There you go. Double value. Alrighty, guys. Any final things we might have missed, Ryan? Any thoughts?
No, we went through a lot. There's a lot of information. I mean, I could go over our chat because I just kept. Of course. How could I forget? The Last of Us is coming to HBO.
Okay.
Talk about like an early birthday present.
I haven't played the games yet, so I can't get excited.
I know, but I can.
Good for you. Happy for
Boy, I was so like, and I'm also just really happy because my biggest complaint about video games to movies is Warcraft movie. I like the Warcraft movie, but it's definitely flawed. We'll say the least. You have to fit in 40 hours of content into 2 hours at that. So now you're taking a game that's about 10 hours worth of content, and they're putting it into a TV show, which will probably be 10 episodes, an hour a piece because it's HBO. That sounds perfect. That sounds like it's meant to be. I'm not saying they're going to literally copy the game verbatim.
Just look at stream right now.
I'm a little behind. I see.
Come on, it's got to be caught up.
No, my internet is struggling with Twitch. I've been having such an issue with Twitch lately. It's only Twitch. It's so weird, but all my streams buffer. No matter like random depends. Mario.
I remember this scene. What?
Yep. That's a really good example.
What a banger of a movie. We just watched the whole thing. Like,
I went to go see that in theaters.
I have a really bad my first night left home alone as a kid. I was, I don't know, 12 years old, 13 years old. My parents would never let me stay home alone. I remember it was thundering and lightning out and like all hell. And I'm home alone for the very first time ever. Because I've got 3 brothers. I have an older brother, but they all had to be somewhere. And I was sick or something, so I couldn't go. I remember laying on the couch being afraid because like there's scary weather and shit, watching this movie and talking on the phone to my best friend because we didn't have internet back then. We had phones. We talked on the phone. Oh, so I can't see that movie or anything about that movie without thinking about that night for some reason, which is interesting, I suppose.
Yeah.
To me, at least, not to anyone else. That's why I told you my story. Thanks for listening.
God. Just the cast.
It's
They're
perfect.
probably so excited because it was a Mario movie and people got really excited, but boy.
I'm just going to end the show by saying, holy shit, I didn't expect to be excited about Magic Legends. Played it. Now I'm hyped. Can't wait for beta. Gods of Magic, Wizards. Perfect Point. Is that the studio? Perfect World. Yo, get me in there. Let me play your game. I'm going to make content for it because that game has me hyped. Ryan, shout outs.
I did my shout out to Fan Geek, Fan Gamer, whatever it is. I don't even know
Christ.
who I'm shouting out. Thank you for that wonderful final. Magic Legends was won the show for me at PAX East. I'm really excited to continue to play that.
Over Baldur's Gate.
I didn't get to really see much of Baldur's Gate.
That's right.
So
Baldur's Gate. Get out of here. Magic
maybe
Legends.
if I went there on Friday or Saturday, but even then, who knows what was there? It looked like a pretty small area, but
yeah, pretty disappointing compared to Magic's, which had beautiful banners flying in the sky and a big ass demon crouching in the front. I'll have to post those pictures on Discord. Bam. Guys, that's going to do it for episode 11 of TownHall Arcade. I think we'll be back next week trying to get on a weekly trend because we've just been too damn busy. But next week, we'll try to figure it out. This guy's got a birthday happening next week. And, I mean, this week they've been dropping news like coronavirus is spreading. It's just everywhere. We'll see you next time. GG's.